Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy Limited Talks here, and today we're talking about Indiana Jones. Now, we all know that Indiana Jones 5 is coming out. I think it's supposed to come out in like 2022, I think. And based on like early like photos of Harrison Ford, man. I mean, we all know that Harrison Ford is old, right? Like we all know like he's 78, okay? We understand that, but man, he looks rough. He looks like he has not gotten a lot of rest in the last couple of days. And we're gonna look at the complete and utter meltdown of James Mangold, who went off on Twitter. Oh God, who went off on Twitter to just complain about some stuff. Of course he did. Well, anyway, we're gonna look at the Indiana Jones 5 photos of Harrison Ford looks rough, which I was talking about earlier, and director James Mangold goes off. Now, he was tweeting for 24 hours straight. He was just going off after anyone who was talking about Indiana Jones 5. Which, I understand, you're a director, I understand this. You want to make sure your movie is good, like so that everyone really likes your movie. But again, if you go after everyone, you are going to have a lot of people like, man, Indiana Jones, I don't know about that one, man. Okay, so before we get into the article, there are some things that need to be prefaced. First, we're hoping that Indiana Jones 5 is a great film. I will say this. I want Indiana Jones 5 to be a good film. Not a great film, because again, I understand, like, you know, to make it a great film, it has to be like, I would probably say like an 8 to like a 10 out of 10. It has to be that. But the problem that I have is Hollywood doesn't even understand that. They want to make sure the movies be great, but they don't understand what it means to be good. Because again, like, my whole thing is Indiana Jones was good, and then it's like it just kind of make like bad sequels and then bad, like, you know, movies, stuff like that. And then it came out be like, oh yeah, Disney's making Indiana Jones 5, and people are like, wait, what? Why? Kathleen Kennedy's, they're out of ideas again. Hey, listen, what do we have in the bag? Oh, we have Indiana Jones. It's like, oh, fuck it, we'll use it. James Mangold has made tremendous films in the past, and Harrison Ford is a superstar. Again, James Mangold did make Logan and Ford vs. Ferrari, so I'm not saying that he's not a bad director. I'm just saying the fact of he has made 2 good films. Okay, he has made 2 good films, and like that, Logan is like, I think it's like one of the best superhero films you could probably say. The character of Indiana Jones is perhaps the greatest cinematic icon in the history of American movies. Also, we've been very right in the past about Indiana Jones 5 leaks, detailing that the film was nearly cancelled due to the pandemic, that Indiana Jones would feature CGI, de-aging flashbacks, etc. We've also been positive about the film when it's been appropriate. All this said, let's get started. Again, like, we all know the fact that we're going to do de-aging. Like, they can't have Harrison Ford just be old the whole entire movie. Of course, they can do some de-aging software. I mean, but again, if you just wanted to just go, like, we use old footage. That's sometimes what they do, right? Leaked images of the first week of shooting for Indiana Jones has been moving across Twitter over the past 24 hours. These are our first photos of Harrison Ford acting out the final movie of Indiana Jones with him as a star, and perhaps the final Indiana Jones ever. Yeah, I mean, like, if Harrison Ford is 78 at this point, like, in my opinion, like, he should not come back for another movie. He's like, listen, man, I'm old, I'm done, I'm not playing Indiana Jones again. Not unless they do a hard reboot and be like, this is gonna be a young Indiana Jones with a young actor who will be a woman. It's like, oh, okay. These leaked images can be best described as concerning. Here they are, and we'll discuss. So, like, yeah, look at, my God, Indiana Jones, man. Harrison Ford luckily hasn't slept in like a week or something. Like, he just looks like he's just there for the bag, man. I'm sorry, he just looks like he's just there for the bag. Oh yeah, he looks like he's just there for the bag, man. He's like, I really do not fucking care, man. Like, that's what he's there for. Alright, so here are some concerning things. First, it's obvious that Harrison Ford looks very much like a 78-year-old man, and that, as he should be, he's 78. But you know, it's hard to watch a superhero age. It just is. We're not trying to be rude about this or mean. It's like watching Michael Jordan on the Wizards. People love MJ, so it's hard to watch the greatest of all time fade. The same is true for Indy. People love this character, and people love Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford. Listen, if Harrison Ford could just live forever, I would love to see him. But again, like, that's not how life is, and it sucks. So seeing him age is a reminder of mortality and getting old, getting elderly. It can suck. So whereas you may have a hope that Harrison Ford would somehow defy age, he hasn't. One way that a director might cover this up a bit is to tidy up other parts of the character, but he looks disheveled, wrinkled, haggard. I suppose that's a creative choice, but it's hard to see Ford's older character's sagging chest hanging out however halfway unbuttoned shirt that's also not tucked in at places. Whatever the artistic direction is a solid reminder that this isn't 80s Andy, even though there's no way it could have been. Again, like, he just looks like he's just tired. Like, that's just what he looks like. He looks tired. It's like I just don't want to come back and play Indiana Jones, man. But it's like Disney gave me a lot of money to come back. Be like, fine, I do one more film, and then I'm done. That's what it kind of seems like. It's the fact that he's like, one more film, I'm done. I'm just doing this so that way I can just get a paycheck. I mean, like, he might be going through the emotions, but it might be still a good film. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully it is a good film. The fear is what we've been talking about on Pirates and Princesses. It took a miracle to get here, and even after a delay of months could have made this film impossible. But honestly, maybe we're already past the point where it could have been. Harrison Ford of The Force Awakens could have pulled this off. Harrison Ford of Rise of Skywalker might have been able to. It brings this author absolutely zero to say this is rough, because the film might have just gone on too long. Because again, like, this film, I think, what was it, back in like 2017 or so? Like, this film was supposed to be like kind of like in this beginning stages, and then again, like, Kathleen Kennedy talked about like, oh, like creative differences or whatever. I don't remember. I don't know the full details, but I think it's like Kathleen Kennedy didn't want to direct it because of creative differences, of course, because that's how Kathleen Kennedy is, and that it got delayed maybe like a couple times, and now it's coming out 2022. Harrison Ford, as of right now, he's 78, so he probably like 79 by the time this movie comes out. He's like, oh man, oh my god, I'm almost 80 years old. Like, what the hell? And I made Indiana Jones 5. Oh my god, I'm so tired. The filmmakers clearly knew they got an issue. Ford is marked with CGI dots on his face and his jacket, in a clear indication that they will use CGI makeup to bring his age down. We saw this effect used for the entire film last with Pee-wee's Big Holiday. It worked fairly well there, but maybe they can pull off. Maybe they can pull off for Indiana Jones 5, which again, I mean, yeah, I mean, it could work. I mean, like, but again, like, they always use like the CGI, right? They always use de-aging software, like what again with Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel, like. That worked fairly good, right? But my whole thing is, do you think Harrison Ford wants to be de-aged, like to a certain degree? Like, how old are they gonna make? Like, how many make Indiana Jones though? Maybe like in his 40s or 50s, maybe. But even then, I just don't think. I don't think it's Harrison Ford to be like, okay, one more film, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing Indiana Jones again. Like, you can do a hard reboot if you want to, but I'm not coming back. The bigger issue is what we've been hearing reports from shooting that Harrison Ford doesn't just look older, he moves in a very elderly fashion. Again, he's 78. I mean, we're not trying to pick on Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is awesome. If we could snap our fingers and turn the clock, we'd love to have him just as in his prime as he ever was. But it's hard to see how he's going to pull off this movie if his movements are those geriatric. I think that's how I say it. It's like watching a grandparent lose their step. It's not fun, and we're not making fun. Aging awaits us all who are as fortunate to live a longer life. You can imagine on our offense have been so careful to point out that they're concerned about the movie franchise they love, while simultaneously honoring the man who has played Dr. Jones. Like, I love Indiana Jones, right? Man, I don't want Harrison Ford to age because I love Han Solo too. Aging hits, right? Aging just works for all of us. Like, we're all waiting that whole like that point of being like, here's what I'm gonna be aging. Be like, hey, listen, he's old, man. He's walking in a gingery fashion because that's kind of, he's 78. I'm expecting to see Harrison Ford move old. I'm expecting that. Like, again, if they want to make this like a realistic one, they just make move old. It's like, oh my god, I gotta keep on fucking doing this, man. Come on, hurry up. I would love to see Harrison Ford just get mad at everyone, just hit people with like a walking stick. That'd be funny. But that's where the story goes for weird mode, because once those images leaked, the director of the film took time off of his prolific Twitter account, primarily used for hyper-partisanship, to attack critics of the photos. By the way, why is it always that these Hollywood elites are hyper-partisan against half the country, but never say a word about actual slavery, forced labor, and genocide out of China? Because it can't. Again, they're on Hollywood. Hollywood bends the knee to China more than any other place. They will bend the knee to hell and back to get for that Chinese dollar. They will do that. So I would never like to film in Georgia. You know, we all kind of that's whatever tweet. I don't give a damn. Like every director is gonna say that shit. I just know that. What follows a fairly indefensible tirade of James Mangold attacking people who care about Indiana Jones. I don't care if fans are criticizing your friends, attacking your filming decisions, etc. We always seen how this goes with Rian Johnson. The best defense would make an awesome movie, not to spend hours punching down. Again, like, they don't seem to understand that. They think like attacking the fans will bring in more people to watch the film. No, it's gonna make less people watch your film because you attack people. But if you don't understand that, you're like, again, I mean, yeah, because Rian Johnson's like The Last Jedi made money, right? But he could make a ton more money if he just wasn't so like hyper defensive about his movie. He was hyper defensive about his movie. He said like, "Oh, you're sexist, you're racist, you kick that girl off of Twitter or Instagram." I'll probably pull it up because I can't remember her name right now. It's like you can't always say like it's this person's fault. It's because it's your fault. Again, if the movie bombs, it's not the people who's watching the film. It's the person who's in director's chair and just yelling out orders. It's your fault because you did not make a good film. Like, Indiana Jones is probably gonna come out. I'm saying this. I think it's gonna be a really bad film. I want it to be good. Don't get me wrong. I want it to be good, but I just don't think it's gonna be good. I'm sorry. He says far. Mind you, this is not all the tweets because he went on like for 24 hours. Like, he went on for 24 hours. He was just talking to people. But here are some. Matthew Kaddish is not a fan. I don't know who Matthew Kaddish is. I probably gotta look him up. He has a YouTube channel and a website. Oh god. So I don't know who the heck that is. He may well also be a fan, whatever the fuck that means. Fuck. I'm an indie fan. He certainly is not my fan. Hardly seen a Harrison Ford fan. So what does that word mean exactly? What do you mean, like, you an indie fan, but he's certainly not my fan? So he's not a fan of my work. So that means he's not an indie fan. Oh, he loves the classics, like, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and, you know, I don't know, was it Crystal Skull good? I don't remember. I would say Raiders of the Lost Ark really, so I don't know if the other ones are good. And he's not a fan of my indie, so he's not a fan of any indie, even though he may love the classics. He doesn't love my indie, so he's not a fan of Indiana Jones, and he's not a fan of my work, which whatever that means. Like, I don't understand what that means. We don't have basements, but we have a kick-ass studio with a basement studio, which is just made by the Salty Nerd. Yeah, that's a kick-ass studio. Congrats on the Batman statue and a jar of quarks. So how about you let me finish my film and then bitch all you want about it in front of your vinyl bricks lit by your fancy bounce slide, and maybe you can call opinions news. Damn, what the fuck? Again, this is not a good look for Mango. Like, this is not, like, again, this is a director. This is a director of a film who's mind you, who's the director of Indiana Jones, mind you, and it looks bad already. The fact of, like, you know, Harrison Ford looks old, to then go out on Twitter to then complain even more, and you're like, hey, listen, man, you probably shouldn't be saying this type of stuff. Like, I don't care. They're not fans of Indiana Jones, because of course they aren't. Even though I don't know fans of Indiana Jones, I'm pretty sure, because they really like Indiana Jones. But whatever. I argue with people in writers' rooms and on sets back when I worked in Hollywood. But even if it was just over the end, I'm free to share my opinions whenever the hell I want about whatever I want. This is my Matthew Kaddish, which I don't know who exactly this guy is, but I probably should look him up. He sounds interesting. Tell us about your Hollywood experience, Matt. Give me some titles of your work so we can be on equal footing. Wow, man, go getting all bent out of shape because someone doesn't want to see an 80-year-old Indiana Jones. I don't want to die in this hill. I don't want to die in this hill, but dude needs to realize some people might not just like the idea. not been out of shape, defending my friend and my project. I've always know when you guys can't answer questions, you just shift to moving at the fact I am talking to you. Okay, I'll leave you alone. Have at it. So I just don't see. I think Mango is kind of losing his mind. He just does not seem to understand it. He's like, listen, we are fans of Indiana Jones. These are fans of Indiana Jones because we understand that. We understand the fact that, listen, Indiana Jones is 78 right now. We understand that. But at the same time, you have to understand that Indiana Jones needs to be sure that it's going to be a great film. And you can't go on Twitter and then complain to other people about like how the fact of you are the right one. You're the only one that seems to understand what's going on. You're not the only one. We understand what's going on as well. Don't think about it, James. Keep doing your work. There are more people excited about it, I am sure. Thanks, Axe. I don't mind people griping and procrastinating, but on my watch, false info, ageism, and snark from so-called journalists is going to be confronted directly and forcefully. In my opinion, those clickbaiters like to dish it out, but like Nightcrawlers can't stand the light. So ageism. He's calling people who thinks like calling Indy out, saying he's 80 we're not wrong. He's like 78. We're ageist, pretty much. It's crazy, but he's gonna say, oh, it'll be directly and forcefully. So he's gonna contact you directly to say, listen, shut the fuck up about my movie, and then you're gonna pay me, and you're gonna pay me my money. Give me your money. Give me your money. I will need it. You can find James Mango's Twitter account to see what he's been doing all day long, and he's still at it. I mean, I think he still is. And again, he's defending his art. He's just what he's now working on, which is likely a dream come true. I just don't know that this is the way to go about defending it. Maybe it is, but it's not. This is not the best way to defend your work. We found out based on how this is going with public relations, it does concern me that Mr. Mango spends significant time on Twitter retweeting crass political positions that would align Hughes some Democrats. I'm personally ready to see some healing in this one. I just tell you. So this was, and again, I want to go over to like even Twitter to even look at it, because again, if you just even look at this, you even see this. This is Matt Cadiz, right? He's talking about this like, to anyone thinking Indiana Jones 5 might be good, just let me point out, Steven Spielberg is not directing, which we all know the fact that Steven Spielberg, he kind of handed the reins off to Kathleen Kennedy to kind of, because Kathleen Kennedy did work on the original Indiana Jones, and she did work on the original Star Wars? I think she did work on the original Star Wars, right? But then she made the sequel trilogy, and she's making Indiana Jones 5, and you're like, oh wait, hold on a minute, this is not looking good. And Kathleen Kennedy is producing. Harrison Ford is 78 years old. It's written by John Kasdan, who wrote Solo. Oh fuck, that's actually not okay. That's even worse. Okay, Solo. Hey, listen, people know how bad Solo was. I mean, was that even Harrison Ford in that movie? I don't think Harrison Ford was even in that movie. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Solo. Thanks, Matt. 1. Keep the world a better place, clapping on things in the first week of production from your basement. 2. Never see the script by John. Nothing against him, just reality. Butterworth and I started from a blank page. 1 to 3 hours, roughly talented and all on my side. So again, Mango just keeps on talking. Like, if you just look at here, these okay. So I want to go down to this one. This is the original tweet that. Matthew Cadiz said. Here, there's even more people are talking about. I've never seen it before. Wait, what? Yeah, what's kind of what we're talking about? This is. Oh wait, so this is we're talking to a different user who has, mind you, 0 followers. So he is just talking. He just keeps on talking. He just keeps on going on and on. Like again, he's just kind of just going. It just kind of keeps on going. Right? It kind of keeps on going. More. I mean, this is the same thing. Kind of keeps on going and going and going and going. Man, I just looked at Mangold, and this just keeps on going. Well, I mean, again, this is not the same. This is not the same people. Yeah, see, Duncan Gilmore's chose to get fucked is making my Indiana Jones 5 get better, get greater. Wow. So again, he's pretty much telling people who are against the gamer side to pretty much say, man, fuck you, man. Wow. So it's kind of crazy that people are, especially when you look on the outside. So Salty Nerd, AC Hutchins, and 2 others. Yeah, that's okay. So this is why Geeks and Gamers. Remember, this was the one I was reading. Anyone who knows anything funny, I guess what that why you must be included. Characters age just like people, and it's spelling indie. So let me get this right, Ryan. You can spurge about me, and I'm supposed to stay silent while you do that and bait clicks because Lucasfilm and not random timelines. The same timeline of the dudes spurging about my film. I mean, again, like. This is not a good look for James Mangold. It just really isn't, because like you're not helping your case, right? You're kind of making it seem like you're bitter, right, about these people who are getting you would say it clicks, right? And clicks about your movie because the movie is terrible. But man, I hope Indiana Jones 5 is good. And James Mangold, please stay off of Twitter. Twitter's a terrible place to be on anyway. Well, that's all you guys today. Anyway, tell me, do you guys think that Indiana Jones 5 is going to be a good film? I don't know if it's going to be it won't be a great film. I think it might be like an average to like a pretty good film, maybe. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be that good. Well, I'll see you guys. Well, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down to the channel below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.